Hello, today we're going to be looking at these two things. They are an intercom system from the 20s maybe, I'm not sure. These both still worked pretty well. I had a look on the inside and yeah, amazingly it was all still pretty good on the inside. And that wasn't all. On the inside as well was a hand-drawn schematic of what was going on. So having a look at this, you can see that it was, well, one of them was in an office and the other one was in the call desk. So there are 4 wires that are required to connect between each phone. There's the live that needs to connect through the battery. Look how snazzy that is. And then there's the other ones, EK, MZ and WZ. A kind fella by the name of Chris just popped round and mentioned that maybe the EK stands for Earth Calling System. I'm not particularly sure. I'm not really up on this kind of stuff. All I know is I want to get this working and this intercom in and stuff, and then maybe figure out later on what all of these things stand for. So if you can write out what these stand for, please comment that below for everybody else and myself who are wondering. Anyway, if we have a look at the top, we'll see that these alligator clips are actually connected to the 4 cable tops, the live, the EK, the MZ and the WZ. And then on the inside where are the various cables. These are the coils for the ringer. We'll just send the ringer off. How lovely is that? And you can see the hang-up switch system, which is working quite happily, which is swapping between the ringer and the speaker. The microphone capsules on these actually make contact through the hinges. As you can see, even if the hinge is open, there's probably a bit of contact, and then as you close it, these parts actually make the connection, and then it makes it all pretty solid. So this is the ringer button, and it pushes down on a switch contact right at the back. Speakers are pretty cool. They're just a thin metal membrane, and then 2 electromagnetic coils that make the metal membrane vibrate back and forth, and that makes a sound in your ear. And needless to say, both of these are still working very happily. I had to rewire the other one, but both of them are pretty solid and, you know, functioning nicely. The earpiece's weight hanging down makes it so it's able to ring, and then you lift it up and then you can talk.
Now I'm talking into the intercom and my microphone is over on the other earpiece, and you can hear how lovely and rusty this really does sound. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's going to carry the volume quite nicely across the building. I think I'm going to wire it up now, and it's going to be about 10 to 15 meters away from each other so people can talk from across the museum.
Kind fella by the name of Chris just popped round, and he had this telephone wire which had 2 pairs, which will be perfect for wiring up the intercom, methinks.
Time to wire up this state-of-the-art intercom system. One of them is already on the wall.
There you go, Barrett.
And as you can see, the wire is going to head up over here and up along the cable tray, and as we go it makes its maiden voyage about 25 meters over to the other side of the museum.
So both sides are now installed. They're only about 10 meters away from each other, but there is a wall between, so hopefully there is enough sound isolation for them to be, you know, fun and useful. And actually, they're pretty cool. This is the one that is closest to the power source. The power source is actually coming through here. There's going to be another bit of conduit at some point cleaning up this wire, but right now I didn't have another 90-degree elbow to hand, so that'll be another project for another day. So if I push the intercom, you might be able to hear the other one through my microphone through the wall. Yeah, nice. It is nice and beefy. It's got a good tone to it. This control panel also controls the Furbies above. So it's wired up to serve multiple purposes, and the great thing is it won't be sending power to this when it isn't needed. It can be turned off at the wall. Next to it, I've also put the schematic. This wall is going to be full of a lot of descriptions of the display cabinet next to it on the other side, which has got a bunch of dismantled things as well as an old dictaphones. That metronome's down there. Ooh. Over here is the other side of the intercom. As you can see, the cables on the top are still bare on both, and that's what they were originally like. But I'm actually going to put a bit of clear plastic over there because you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, I'm going to take my microphone off. I'm going to lift this off the hook. I'm going to put the microphone on top of here.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I may have put the microphone a little bit too close to the earpiece, but the great thing is the way that it's wired up. The loop that it's wired up is what I'm hearing in this earphone is exactly what you're hearing over there. There isn't a bit of a difference over here. If there's noise over the actual wire, I will hear it in here as well. And all in all, it sounds okay. You can hear what I'm talking about. You can make it out. It's quite a fun thing. The great thing about these intercoms, oh, I just hit it, that was a little bit noisy, is they're still perfectly usable. They're still just as reliable as normal modern ones, if not more reliable. They look cool, and there's still quite a few of them about. So if you want an intercom in your house or in your office or something, then definitely go and look for one of these on the internet, because you can still pick them up, and all of the spare parts and stuff. So many of them are made, and so many old telephones were about that there's so many spare parts for this kind of thing. The thing is with this one is I think the actual cable at some point was replaced. This is just a bit of old telephone wire. It's all still flexible, it's still fine, but the great thing is if this gets broken, well, it's easily replaceable. This wasn't an original part. It's yellowed. It's obviously about 40 years old or something, but this isn't the one from the 1920s, so it has been replaced. All in all, it's a fun little thing. Well, I'm Sam. This is the Museum of Everything Else. If you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, have a lovely time.